Hi everyone, I'm Karina and I am the author of a collection of short stories called This Side of the Veil. The collection is about loss and grieving and how people move forward after they've lost somebody in their life. But it also explores the aftermath of a loss and the different ways that people will deal with it. You will meet characters who are at different places in their different processes. You will meet a child who is learning about death for the very first time, a young man who's struggling with feelings of guilt and anger on the 1-year anniversary of his friend's death, and you'll meet a young woman who is struggling to reconcile hurtful things that her mother said about her before she died. These characters come from different walks of life, and they are all having different and separate experiences and approaching their grieving in ways that was shaped by their lives. But they're also, in that sense, all united by this complex and universal and very confusing feeling that we have to come to know and navigate. I chose to write on these themes because I lost my friend Kelsey quite unexpectedly towards the end of the summer of 2018, and I was having a lot of trouble processing that sudden loss in my life. So when I had the opportunity to take a nonfiction creative writing workshop at Colgate, I took this experience that I hadn't really had time to process yet, and I wrote a very long essay about it. And then later in the semester, when the workshop was ending, I did a reading of an excerpt of it. Grief is both personal and it's also extremely universal. We all know what it's like to lose somebody, and if we don't have that experience, then we do know somebody that has. We also all know to a certain extent about the 5 stages of grief, the Kubler-Ross model: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And we see that as a framework that gives us a light at the end of the tunnel and allows us to believe that grief will have an end. In the same sense, grief is also a deeply, deeply personal experience because everybody understands it and goes through it differently. Sometimes what you're feeling might not exactly fit into that framework of the 5 stages. To not know where it fits in or what you're experiencing can be a little scary. Sometimes you might feel like that you have reached acceptance, but you still feel angry or guilty or any other of those other crazy emotions that come with that experience of death, and it feels like it never ends. If you're someone who is grieving, then I do hope that in some capacity you can see parts of your grieving experience in some or all of these characters, and that one of their stories is able to reach you. I hope that through all of these different stories, you're able to see that grief is complicated and that some people feel different parts of it more acutely than others, and that's really okay. And I hope that you can find some insight somewhere that might help you understand the messiness of it all a little bit better. I'm Karina, and I am the author of a collection of short stories called This Side of the Veil.